Welcome back in. It's this week's edition of the Recruiting Roundup. That's Scout.com's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. We bring you the latest in Arizona high school football recruiting. And off the top, Jason, a commitment. And the first one in a while. Horizon quarterback Dalton Sneed made his decision.
Yeah, he committed to UNLV. It was his only offer currently. I think he would have gotten more because he had a great junior season. His junior tape is phenomenal. He threw for a bunch of yards, had a whole bunch of touchdowns, and what I like most is not very many interceptions. He was a smart player. The reason Dalton decided to commit early was UNLV had extended offers to 5 other quarterbacks. He took an unofficial visit there, didn't want to be left out, said this is where I want to go, so he took the offer, leaving the other 4 kids out on the street.
Leaving him out on the street is Dalton Sneed. This is a guy, Jason, that's learning under a guy with Division I experience in Chris Heavner, who's his head coach.
Yeah, you can see what he did last year in Heavner's first season. Horizon had a great season, but under Heavner's tutelage, he put up big numbers last year.
So Dalton Sneed commits to UNLV. Sneed is a guy that Jason pegged about a month ago is going to be this year's Luke Rebenzer coming up in the fall of 2014. Another commitment to get to, Jason, A.J. Greathouse was supposedly going to be going to Mesa Community College, the defensive back out at Hamilton, but he picked up a very late offer that's going to have him at a Pac-12 school this fall.
Yeah, he committed to Cal. Now, the interesting thing is, AJ's already graduated, but the NCAA has allowed high school seniors and junior college players to now go to these college camps. AJ was able to do that, went to Cal's over the weekend, and walked away with an offer. Still needs to be admitted into the school. Assuming that's going to get done, AJ will be a Bear.
And this is a player, Jason, that we really were high on throughout the year and was surprised that he didn't have more offers like this at the end of the season.
Yeah, great lineage. His dad was a very, very good football player at McClintock a long time ago. But he's a player that I really liked, was an all-Arizona corner. Shocked he didn't have offers, but good for him. He's getting one late. It shows those recruits it's never too late. Don't give up on your dreams.
So that's probably the last movement from a player in the 2014 class. Let's look ahead to the next coming classes and the offers that have come in over the past week. And the person that blew up the most in the past week is a guy we saw in person during spring ball that Coach Mons at Saguaro was really high on, Byron Murphy, the recent transfer from Marcos.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he was a transfer from Marcos, an all-section corner there as a sophomore for Roy Lopez when he was the head coach there. Transfers to Saguaro. Maybe with some of the attention that Christian Kirk has brought with all the schools coming through, a bunch of schools now have turned around and offered Murphy. Arizona State was the first after their passing league tournament, but you look at Wisconsin, Texas A&M, UCLA, and Ohio State. 4 big-time programs coming in to Scottsdale and extending an offer to the big cornerback.
A couple more offers to continue to get to as the local schools here in the state offer 2 players from Northern Phoenix.
Yeah, you look at Brian Calhoun, a defensive end out of Deer Valley and Glendale, and then Nathan Eldridge, the defensive lineman / O-lineman from Boulder Creek. Calhoun was offered by Arizona State just a few days before their big man challenge last week, and then Eldridge, we've known him as a defensive lineman predominantly, but he was offered by the U of A as an offensive lineman after working for the first time at that position at U of A's camp.
A couple offers to get to that I'll rattle off quickly because they have had so many and we've talked about them so much. Caleb Pert, the talented defensive lineman out of Hamilton, picks up an SEC offer from Vanderbilt. And Nick Carmen, a guy that we have talked about quite often over the last month or so, the big offensive lineman out of Mountain Point, picks up his latest offer from Jason's alma mater, New Mexico State. Now, there was the NAU Passing League tournament over the weekend that you were able to catch. You saw a lot of great talent. 2 players came home on their drive back down the hill with offers.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank Coach Sowers and his staff. They always treat me great up there. I spent 2 days in NAU in Flagstaff. Love the weather. I love that tournament. I go there every single year. But the first offer I want to get to is Alex Farina, just going to be a junior, a quarterback at a Desert Vista, was offered by NAU. You might remember the name. His brother Nick was a DB at Desert Vista that now plays at South Dakota State. And then one of my favorite players, Derek Hall out of Tucson, Saguaro, was offered by NAU at the camp as a defensive player, and then a couple days later turns around and gets his second offer from South Dakota State.
Now, Derek Hall's a familiar name. We pegged him at the beginning of March as a future household name, and the goal with that episode, Jason, if you remember, was these guys are going to be household names by the end end of the fall. Matt Pistone was in that episode. The rest is history with him. He's become one of the most recruited players in the state. And now the second player to start receiving offers is Derek Hall. Speaking of Matt Pistone, he was in the San Diego State Passing League tournament last weekend. He adds an offer from them, and that's not the only Arizona player that the Aztecs offered over the weekend.
Yeah, Pistone was offered, that's his 15th offer from San Diego State. The San Diego State Passing League tournament, again, for the weather, draws a good number of schools out to it. It's the same weekend as NEU's every year. But Cienega went out there, and Terrence Johnson, the big safety, who also has an offer from the U of A, was offered by the Aztecs. Now, he's going to have to decide because he has Division I basketball offers as well with the football offers.
A very, very talented athlete down there in Tucson. A couple more offers to get to. Division II school Wayne State offers Elmondo McCoy out of Valley Vista. And then Liberty's Aaron Blackwell is offered by University of San Diego as well as the University of Mary. That's it for this week's edition of the Roundup. That's Jason Jewell. I'm Jared Cohen. This has been the Recruiting Roundup on Sports360AZ.com.